All right, let's get started here. So, first off, welcome to the both of you. Thanks for joining us in this Father's Day special. You're joined by 67's goaltender Cedrick Andree and his father Frank Andree. Thanks for joining us, guys. So let's have a little fun here today. First off, I'm going to ask you about the past couple weeks. How's quarantine been? Like I mentioned earlier, Frank, I hope said he's not driving you too crazy so far, but just take us through the past couple weeks, what you guys been up to and how you've been dealing with this situation.
Well, we're pretty bored. We went for a couple morning jogs together, and that kind of fizzled off. I went on my own jogs. He's can't keep up.
He said my workout was his warm-up. But what has been good is that he's learned to cook. He's actually come home occasionally, my wife and I, and dinner was ready and played it, just like you see on TV, all pretty and stuff. So that's been exciting.
And what did it taste good? How was it?
Excellent. Yeah, it was good.
Wasn't awesome at the beginning.
Well, it wasn't awesome at the beginning. It got better as it went along. But no, it's been good. You made dinner tonight already. So
that was like a dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Lunch dinner.
Frank, it must be pretty different to have Ceddy at home all the time now. During the season, he's always running at this place, or he's at the other end of the province, or wherever he may be. So how's it been to have him around? I'm sure it's been a long time since he's been around the house this much and this long.
Yeah, no, it's been different, but it's interesting because he's been a bit more relaxed than he is in the middle of the season sometimes, which is nice. He's always getting ready for the next game or thinking about the last game. But now it's actually nice having him around, and I won't lie though, it's nice that he's going out for workouts now too. So it's a combination. It's been good.
Why don't we get some questions just talking about when Ceddy was starting in OHL? How was it for you, Frank, when you first saw Ceddy kind of starting a game, like his first OHL game? Like, bring us back to that kind of moment.
Yeah, that was the Sudbury Rolls. I'd rather not remember that game. It started off well. We were down 1-0 at the end of the first. And of course, Sudbury, all of my wife's family is from Sudbury, so there were lots of family there. It didn't end that well, though. I think it was.
You can recap it if you want.
Yeah, it was, I think, 7-3 at the end of the game. So I saw him in the tunnel afterwards, and that's it. I'm done. The OHL, they're gonna cut me now. I might as well look at going back to school. I can't go NCAA because I've now destroyed that opportunity because I played. So that was pretty down. And then the next game after that was his first win against Kingston. So then all was ready for the world again.
Everything was okay after that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the confidence came back.
Yeah. But just the pride you must have felt when you saw Ceddy, skate out with that 67's jersey, and obviously, just he'd come a long way before that. That must have been just such a great feeling as a dad, right?
No,
I think that first exhibition game, that's what you said to me. I think in Kingston you were there.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the first exhibition.
It was in Kingston. You were there. Played well.
That one. Yeah, that was good. I think that was, believe it or not, that was more exciting because that was the first time playing a game with 6-7, even though it was exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
Summer was nice because it was a regular season game, but it was already several games in, for a while. So I think that was exciting. Obviously, his first win.
Yeah, I think that was the first moment I actually put on the Barber pull stripes. Yeah. That exhibition game. I think that's why. I think if I think of my first game, especially because Sudbury didn't go well, I think that's I always think of that as like my first game. My dad was there in the stands too, waving at me at warm up. I think that was the first actual time putting the jersey on. I was really excited. No, you did it the first game.
Just historically.
and just to be clear for people who don't know, Frank, you're at every game, right? Like I don't think you miss a game. Do you? Rarely do.
I'm at every home game. I was at pretty much all his away games his first year because there weren't that many. His first year, there were 3 goalies back then. And this year I stopped going to all the away games because there were too many of them and to save some money. But then I think I went to every playoff game last year as well at 70-20. But yeah, I'm at every home game though.
And do you remember ever, I'm sure that's happened in the past, but do you have any memories of just taking Ceddy to 67s games?
Yeah,
when he was
one
younger?
game, absolutely. I remember one game where I think we were playing Sudbury. I think Trudeau was in the nets, and we won like 10-0 or something. And Ceddy was, every time the 6-7 scored a goal, he'd take his shirt off and swing around in the air. He was, I think he was 10 years old at the time or so. But yeah, it was definitely a great family atmosphere, and that was definitely the first. At that time, I think all parents of Pee Wee players hope that the kid may one day, play at that level. But it was pretty exciting to be there at that time watching the game, and now coming back again to the Pee Wee place and seeing him actually between the pipes instead of just watching from the stands.
With my shirt off.
Which, yeah, this keeps the shirt on now.
At least.
When you realized or like you wanted to play hockey, did he like come to you, Frank, and say I wanted to play, or like what age were you?
Yeah, that's not a very happy story for me. I think he was 7 years old. He never did IP. He was his friends were playing. He said he wanted to play. I said, okay, what the hell, could be fun for a year or two or a couple of years. So played novice C his first year. The first time we ever put on goalie pads, because they rotated through the players, was when we were playing a mini game before a Sens game at the Corral Center back then, or
Scotiabank Place.
And yeah, that was the first time we ever put on the pads and won the game. It was on a big screen, and I think that was it. It was going after that.
Never looked back after that.
No, exactly.
And what was your initial reaction when Ceddy said he wanted to be a goalie? I mean, it's...
Yeah, I pretty much looked at the price of pads and sticks and helmets and everything else, and thought, this is going to get expensive. but hey, that at least turned around.
It all worked out. It all worked out.
Yeah. I don't think his mother's very happy he's going on because she can't watch him play. So she's at all the games that say he doesn't play when TV plays. So.
That's awesome. And I guess growing up, were you could you ever hear your dad yelling from the stands? Were you, Frank, the type that would stand behind the net and like yell at Ceddy, or were you more of a quiet observer?
I think my dad is more like, was that for my dad or me? You say Ceddy?
Both.
Oh,
yeah.
Both. Yeah, I think my dad, he's a more quiet kind of guy. He's the guy that calms me down before games. My mom is the yelling one, but won't go into that. My dad, he helps me a lot, after bad games too. He's like the kind of guy that's like, don't worry, it's not your fault. I'm like, Dad, I know I've let in 6 terrible goals. I know it's my fault. Like, come on. But he's always been there for me. He's always like the nice guy in the stand. He's like, okay, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. He always keeps me balanced. And, I know he's always there at every game, or even if it's away, I know he's watching. So I always know I got someone on my side, and I appreciate having him there.
I don't do a lot of yelling. I just sit there, and I got to sit sort of in the same spot. Occasionally, Cedrick will glance up. And I'm just there. I don't wave or say, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I think that helps, especially when that third or fourth goal goes in that shouldn't be going in. But that doesn't happen very often anymore, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask this one to Ceddy specifically. What kind of, it's obviously huge, but can you just, in your own words, tell us what kind of impact your dad had, on you starting out in hockey and just growing into not only the hockey player you are today, but also the person you are today?
Yeah, I mean, he's been there for me like all along the way. With hockey too, he was always supporting me at my games. He was always driving me to Toronto, or even when I went to my prep school, he always made the trip 7 hours. Sometimes he'd even drive up just to go watch a game and then drive back home, And it's kind of like a joke around my family. I always call him my manager because, he's on top of everything. There's not a single thing he doesn't know about my hockey stats or anything. You can ask him any year. Could probably even go for a quiz. He knows everything. He's always there for me, and especially hockey and in life. I mean, there's not a better dad I could ask for. He's there every day, and yeah, I love him.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Oh, thanks.
We're getting into the mushy questions now.
Yeah.
I know, right? Come on.
Here's one for you, Frank. What was the proudest kind of moment you've had as a father for Ceddy? If like hockey and otherwise and anything in life, but what was that kind of proudest moment that you've had?
Probably when he was born, but I
What?
No. I think, I think Ceddy will probably say the same thing. Game 2 against Guelph last year when Mike got injured and Cedric went in the nets. And then hear the crowd chant his name and so forth, and basically got the win. So I think that was up there. And what was funny was almost equally proud was again this year, the first game of the season, first regular game of the season, facing that same team that we lost to last year. And I vowed last year that I would be in Guelph for the return visit. I didn't think it was going to be game 1 of the season, but that was only announced in the summertime. But I made sure I was there, and Ceddy made that glove save to save the game with 3 seconds left on the clock, and then overtime and winning the shootout. I think that was probably up there as well. I didn't put that above the game against Guelph at home last year because that was Ceddy's game from start to finish, and that was the start of this season, which was a great season.
And it's crazy that you mentioned that, Frank, because I actually had prepared a question about that specific game 2, right? Like, as Ceddy's dad, right, who obviously Ceddy hadn't played during the playoffs leading up to that moment. And I'm sure you had been to all the home games regardless. That didn't even matter to you. But just that moment when Mikey goes down and we're game 2 of the OHL finals and Ceddy's out there, like what goes through your mind there? That it must be racing and you must be just so excited for your son.
Yeah, to be honest, not much different than any other game that is in this. You get, like any other parent, you get nervous when the game starts. You're happy when it's over, you're disappointed when they lose, and you're thrilled when they win. So, like Ceddy said, I'm kind of.
I don't know. Mom said you're freaking out and you were stressed out. I think you're trying to act a little cool here. I think he might be like going around some spots here because that's not the story I heard last year. I heard he was freaking out and he was pretty nervous. So
okay, maybe just a little bit.
I guess we'll never know.
Just another game.
Yeah, exactly. He'll take it to his deathbed.
It was when I was preparing for this interview. Like that was one of the things that stuck out. Is man, that must have been one of the, most nervous. Well, not nervous. I don't know the exact word to describe it, but it's your mind must have been racing at that moment.
Yeah,
it did stick out.
I wear a Fitbit, and at the end of the game, it told me congratulations on your workout because I hit my cardio zone for quite a bit. So yeah, no, that was. But I think. Yeah, but every game is like that in some way, shape, or form. I get nervous just if he's going up against the last place team in the league or best team. For a goalie parent, it doesn't matter. When the other team scores, you're scoring your kid. The only way you can, the only good result for a goalie parent is a win. Even if it's not a shutout, you wonder, gee, could he have made that save they let him, even if win 1-0. But that's that's life.
Mm-hmm.
Hailey, I don't know if you have anything like else for present. I kind of want to go back now to minor hockey, which I'm sure, Frank, you've got some good stories about Ceddy in minor hockey because obviously Ceddy, when you as someone who has access to being like behind closed doors before games, Ceddy's like the loosest goalie you'll ever meet in your life, right? Like he's not a normal goalie by any means. And when you see
what's a normal goalie?
Okay, normal goalie's focused. Yeah, I guess
I guess there's no such thing, right, as a normal goalie. That's a good point.
No,
it's a guy that's focused. No one's loose, so you know that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess he just steps out of the norm with the way he comes into a game, right? So, but where I want to get to is, I'm sure it's just something that's always been a part of Seti, and even when he was in minor hockey, he must have been like the little goalie that was maybe dancing all over the ice or something like that. Is there any memories of just Seti having fun in minor hockey? Because I'm sure there's just plenty, right?
Honestly, I think that's something that probably evolved over time more than always being there. Yeah, he loved to be on the ice. He loved to be with the boys, whether it's novice or Adam or Huey. But I think for a while there, he did try to emulate other goalies, like be serious, be focused, catch balls while standing on the boozoo before a game, just to get into the rhythm. But over time, I think he realized that wasn't necessarily for him. It wasn't necessarily helping his game, and he had to discover that for himself. And then when he really came into his own and really started to flourish as a goaltender was when he said, "I forget the way that goalies are supposed to be. I'm just going to be myself."
Yeah.
And that actually worked out well for him. So I think, would you agree, Seth? Like, he's always a fun guy to be around, but there was a period there, especially going when he was trying out for a competitive bantam or midget team, where he tried to be more focused and try to be more serious. And he made the team, but he'd always be at his desk when he just relax.
So Seti's kind of breaking the stereotypes of the goalie that needs to be focused and pinpoint focus before games and stuff. It's kind of working out for him, and it's funny to watch, really, because it's really unusual. It's something else, but obviously it works.
But I think it's good for other young goaltenders to see that you don't have to be a certain way to be a successful goaltender. You can be yourself, and if you need to be focused and quiet and sitting in a corner and juggling balls, whatever, if that helps your game, great. If that's not you, you'd rather just be doing, set chats with Kenny before games or whatever, and that relaxes you, then that works too. So it's each goalie is different, just like every player is different. Some players like to fool around before games, others are keeping their sticks, so it's no different for goaltenders.
And even out of hockey, just as a kid, was Seti always that, that happy, jumping around kind of kid?
Depends on the day.
What are you talking about? Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's always been pretty relaxed. Definitely likes to help out around the house. I think we're a close family. But he likes to have his space too. So it's it was always been kind of low key, not intense. I'm a bit more of the planner, a bit more of the looking at the numbers or whatever. And he's like, don't worry about that. Just like for example, I did some work in the backyard last year. Built a sauna. Took my time, measured everything 8 times before I cut it. Said started to help out, but just he needs to just get in there and do it. And so it's a good combination.
Good
I'll
balance.
do planning, I'll do prep work, and then he'll come in and actually get it work.
Do you have any kind of advice for other hockey dads who might be starting out with their kid? Their kid just asked them to play hockey, at a young age. Like, what kind of, advice do you have for that dad starting out?
This isn't new, but just make sure your kid plays hockey for the love of the game, not because they're going to make the NHL. And that's all. Lots of people have said that before that. Just make sure they do it because they love to do it. Likewise, if Cedrick said, "I don't want to be a goalie anymore, I don't want to be a player," that's fine. Or if he would have said, "I don't want to play hockey anymore, I just want to go skiing," that would have been even better. But because I'm a skier, I never played hockey.
Oh, this is a story. I know it's a little off topic, but it's what was that? I think I was trying out for the grads rep. No, it was the A team. It was like B. It was like the rep B. I had never played competitive. I played housing for most of my life. And then if I made the competitive team, I was quitting hockey. No, if I made the competitive team, I was playing hockey and quitting skiing. And if I got cut, then I was quitting hockey and doing skiing full time. My dad was not happy when I made the team.
Yeah.
Because he's a big skier. Like, he used to do that, So I come home, I'm all excited. Yes, I made the competitive team. My dad just shrugs, walks it off. He's like, ah.
instead of driving the slopes and skiing on, he does better racing. So yeah, it's people ask me how long would I play hockey or whatever. I never played hockey. I could skate.
No, he can't skate. Off topic. So me and my other goalie partner a couple years ago, it's great guy. It was Bobrovsky.
Oh yeah,
Nick, yeah. I'm Bobrovsky. That's an NHL guy. No, that's Bobrovsky. It was Nick Bobrovsky. Yeah, it was Nick Bobrovsky. Sorry. And we went. Both dads came out for a set to run a goalie session. This guy can't skate, but he didn't want to be the only goalie dad not coming out. So he takes his skates. He has his helmet. I think he fell about like 20 times during the session. You could not. You couldn't stand. You were falling over. He was trying to shoot the puck. Can't raise the puck. So when you just start playing hockey, you kind of like slide at it. Yeah.
I can see it.
This is like when I was playing competitive. So like all my teammates were kind of like laughing a bit because my dad's out here with his rusty skates and his helmet.
They weren't rusty.
They were rusty. Maybe that's why you were falling so much.
But Cedrick actually, as another side, he's actually a pretty good skier. So that's what I like to do. And occasionally, actually, unfortunately, we didn't do much skiing over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
This freaking original hockey thing keeps getting in the way. But oh well.
Yeah, it gets in the way of the skiing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alex, did you have any last minute questions there?
Yeah, because we're kind of we're running out of questions and out of time. So, but just before we leave, obviously this is the Father's Day kind of special we're doing. So, first thing, I'm gonna ask one last question for Seti. I mean, obviously it's gonna be more of a mushy type of question, but just I asked you about what kind of impact and all that, but just can you just expand on that and expand on how big of an impact Frank has been on not only hockey is one thing, but just your life is another thing. Just what can you tell us about that and how big of an influence he's been on your life even outside of hockey?
Yeah, I mean, he's been there for me all the time. I mean, like I'm the fun, bubbly type. Same with my mom too, and I think we both say he's the rock of the family. He keeps us here. He's always there for us. He's always there for me. He's never missed anything. He's always driving me everywhere when I was younger. He was just like always there for me too. I couldn't have asked for a better dad. It's kind of like it's hard to explain it because I'm like, what am I supposed to say? You've always like been there. There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's
just doing my job.
He's awesome. I mean, he's never blinked an eye. He's always driven me. He's always never hesitated, never really gotten mad. He's the really calm dad that everyone kind of wishes they had, the guy they can look up to and the guy that kind of inspires them, athletic. He went to university in the States, it's something I admire. He always works hard and, there's nothing, I always like spending time with him. Yeah.
And before we let you guys go, Frank, any parting words, kind of like in the same line of the question I asked for Seti? I'm sure you're just very, very proud of your son too.
No, absolutely. And you can ask for better son. He works hard for a lot of dedication to the sport, to the team, but also to the family, to the home life. He never needed to do something, he'll do it. He's there when I need him type of stuff, but he's been great. As he gave me a mug at Christmas or my birthday last year saying, Dad, thanks, I turned out awesome, but that's because he is an awesome kid and he did. And I think it's really a family is like just like partnership. I love the effort that Seti puts into things and the contribution he makes to the family and just being who he is. Like again, couldn't ask for a better son.
I mean, I'm half you, so you better like me.
You didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice.
If he doesn't like me, he doesn't like half of him, right?
Pretty much. So, guys, this was really awesome. Thank you so much, guys. This was really awesome. I can't stress enough how cool this was. Frank, Ceddy, thanks for your time. Happy Father's Day, Frank, Ceddy. I hope you bought him a nice gift because he deserves it.
Yeah, I treated him well on Father's Day.
Good. All right, so thank you guys so much, and hopefully we'll see you soon inside the arena at TD Place.
All right, thanks a lot, Alex. Thanks,
Bye-bye,
Haley.
guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye. Have a
stay
good
safe.
one.